Welcome to Fated, a podcast brought to you by Majella and Carlie, two romantically obsessed readers who believe that great books must include declarations of undying love and deep thrusts of desire. Diving into the spicy, smutty fantasy genre, we are here for both the rattling of stars and headboards, and our podcast starts with the worlds of SJM, but delves into other realms. Did we mention that washboard abs and wands of all kinds are welcome in this inclusive and magically charged space? No topic is off limits, and no one is forced to have only one favourite heroine. Welcome to Fated, where we are unabashedly and wholeheartedly hot and heavy for spicy fantasy fiction. It's time to sit down and smut up. Warning, spoilers ahead.
Hello and welcome to Fated the podcast. I'm Carlie.
And I'm Majella. And this week, Carlie's going to tell us what we're talking about.
We want to jump in and share with you our summer reading list, our holiday reading list. The break we have right now in Australia is over summer, but you might be listening from the US or the other hemisphere, and it could be a winter break for you. But I don't know, I always at this time of year I'm like, I've got time. I'm about to go away for 2.5 weeks with my family, lazing by the pool. There'll be a bit more time. I'm always overambitious in what I think I'm going to read, but I get excited to collate a bit of an idea, a bit of a list of books that I'd love to get through in the next few weeks. So we're going to share, kind of rapid fire a little bit.
Yeah, let's start with the ones that we're both reading because we want to go through them. We want to talk about them in the podcast in the new year, and so we both need to be up to date. So the first duology is by Stacey McEwan. She's an Australian author. She's got a TikTok. She's very, very funny. Her husband is not at all into writing or romantic books, and she continually grabs and pulls him into videos, and it's very funny. But her first book, Ledge, was really popular, and then she's just released the follow-up with this, which is Chasm. So they're both sitting on I've got them, I can show you. They're sitting on my bookshelf ready to go, and they're very pretty and they match.
That's good.
Would really love to talk about, we haven't really gone through any Australian authors, so I thought that's the first one, Ledge, and that's the second one, much prettier, with gold Chasm back to front for you guys.
They're beautiful covers. Yeah, I've downloaded Ledge to my Kindle, so that's on my list for probably on the drive up to where we're staying. So Ledge and Chasm, yes, fun.
Great. And what's the next one that we're both reading?
Well, I don't know if we're both reading it, but I have on my list, because I know you read it a couple of weeks ago, I've got One Dark Window from Rachel Gilleg. And the Two Twisted Crowns is number 2. Yep. So I don't have that as a hard copy yet, but I'll get through this one. I'm sure I'll get through this one. That's one of the top of the list for me.
Yes, and they had a really unique magic system, and was just so different going in. Like, I just found it was like a different type of magic world. Okay. And sometimes that can be hard, whereas I felt like that for me. Like, I bought one on the 5th of November, and I think I bought the second on the 6th of November. So I really churned through those two, and has such a good central character love story, really into it. So I can't wait for you to have read those so that we can dive into them together.
Oh, it smells so fresh and new. I love the smell of them.
The next two that we're also going to try and read are the two by new author Lauren Roberts. She's an American author who's 21 and dropped out of college to finish her book, Powerless, which is going bananas on TikTok. And sometimes I feel like they don't live up to the hype, but her book was so...
You loved it, didn't you?
Yes, it was just really fun. It was a bit of a quest, Hunger Games, just fast-paced, but again, not too similar to any of the worlds. Like, sometimes I think when you read something and it's very similar to ACOTAR or very similar to Fourth Wing, even though it may have been written before them, it feels odd. Like, you start comparing worlds, whereas this felt like its own little world. It was very, very easy to dive in and finish really quickly. And she's releasing her second book, Reckless, I think in January. So hopefully we'll get both done in the summer break.
So I need to download that one to my Kindle. I'm just writing myself notes as we go. Because otherwise my suitcase is half books.
Half
and
closed.
quarter clothes, quarter shoes. That's how it seems to end up. So I've got to use my Kindle a little bit more this summer, I think, because we're going away. Because I have to carry, for me, the next ones are in the Throne of Glass series, and they're chunky. So I've got the physical copies of Queen of Shadows and Empire of Storms. I think I'm just going to put Queen of Shadows on my list because I'm going to get really overwhelmed if I add too many. So Queen of Shadows is on there for me. Majella's already read this whole series, but I'm just going to keep going through so I can keep recording episodes for you guys. I'm really excited to crack that one. I loved Air of Fire so much. So
yes,
that's on my list as well. Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas.
Yes. And then we've got the next two, which they're part of a series, I think of 4 or 5, the Divine Rival series, which is definitely young adult, apparently, a little bit younger. And Reckless Vows by Rebecca Ross, or is it Rebecca Roos?
Ross. Yes. But she's only the second book isn't out just yet. It's coming. So I don't know. Is that part of 5? Is it going to be part of 5 book series?
I thought that one was a longer series. I feel like there's a couple. There's one that's got this incredible gold cover, and it's like gilded gold, and that's a part of 5. Yes, okay. I don't like that cover at all.
I know there's 2 covers. This is the cheap Big W cover. So we're just not judging. We don't judge. We're not judging. We're not judging a book by a cover. But this one I got in the Big W Black Friday sale for like $6. So I'm going to try and get to that. I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to get to this one, but I'm going to do my very best amongst life and kids and holidays. But what else have I got on my list? I actually went to the library the other day and stupidly borrowed more books because that's just the addiction, right? It's just the addiction. I can't not. And I actually have been wanting to read Emily Henry for a little while. I know it's not fantasy, but it is romance. I've actually nearly finished listening to You and Me on Vacation on audio, on Spotify audiobooks. So that's one that I'm technically reading right now. I grabbed this because it was there. Apparently super easy to go through. So I have got that because, as you know, I like to dip out of fantasy every now and then and dip into something else. So I've got Book Lovers by Emily Henry on my list.
I'm dipping out into autobiographies. So I've got Sporty Spice, Mel C, because especially after the Victoria Beckham, the doco, David Beckham doco. But I also read that autobiography by the girl in Bardo. I just read that, which was really interesting. So I thought that's cool. I've always liked Mel C.
Mel was my favourite. Mel C was my favourite.
I don't know if I had a favourite. I think I was into the Spice Girls at just a very normal level. Like there was no like, oh my God. I think if I met them, I'd just be like, oh, the Spice Girls, that's nice. I don't think I'd be like, oh my God. Then I was really into Silverchair in high school. So this is the 2 boys that aren't Daniel. It's sort of like obviously the lesser known, I guess, Daniel went on, had a solo career. So I'm really interested to
I just bought that for my sister for Christmas. So I'm going to borrow that off her when she's read it.
Interesting. And then I was just telling Carlie that I thought this might have been like a mistake on my order because I ordered Barbara.
She literally had to go back and check that she ordered it. She's like, I can't remember.
Look how much I must love Barbara. Look how big this book is.
How many pages is it?
How big it is. This is bigger than Kingdom of Ash.
I like it's a true book person when you go, did I order? I don't recall ordering that. I need to go back and check. How many pages?
966.
You better enjoy Barbara. You must really.
And there's 3 sections of photos. So I reckon that'd be like 50 pages of photos. But I think I was telling Carlie, I thought I was buying the Dolly Parton autobiography, who I really love. I love Dolly. But I was buying in the Black Friday sale, and I think I was just buying the things that were 30 or 40% off at that time to be like,
the frenzy.
Okay. And I think that Barb's was on special and Dolly wasn't.
Look, I look forward to your updates on Barb's and see.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, she'll be obviously very interesting. She's had an incredible career in life.
I know. I really know nothing about her. I'm not even like a little bit of a fan. I'm not an anti-fan. Like I don't dislike her, but it just seems like almost the same as buying a footballer. Someone where I'm like,
I love this so much.
So.
We talked about this before. I laugh at like Booktopia or wherever you buy your books, then putting orders together. Be like Barbara and Silverchair.
And then like a cookbook and a book about growing plants. And then I actually bought the Throne of Glass series because I don't have it in physical form. So I feel like I've really covered the gamut.
Well, we say we read all genres, so give Barb a go. And can you also share quickly, you had a look back over this year of over your Amazon account?
Yes, because I've just set up Goodreads. So I was, you have to upload. It says, do you want to, look at your Amazon orders to remember what you bought? And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I feel like I've bought lots of books over the years because I love the Kindle that you can take it anywhere. And I also love that the Kindle price is usually like half or a third of a physical book. And I often think that unless I know that I'm going to reread, why would I want that?
You don't need to justify.
Anyway. So currently I have purchased 467 books on Amazon. But that's over 10 years. And so that's like 47 books a year, roughly, which is, I think that's not even one a week.
I love it. No, it's impressive. I was like, is that a typo? And she's like, no. But then she's like, it's over 10 years. Okay, all right, So I thought that was like this year. I thought you were saying this year. What?
2014. No, 2014.
How do you afford to clothe and feed yourself? That's fun. Anything else on your list?
I think the one that we're both going to try, but we have to print it out or we have to download it, is that I don't know if I'm ready. Is the Manacle?
I think we've got to. Yeah, I'm not going to do it over summer. I don't think with my kids around.
It just looks harrowing, and also I don't know if I should read it first to tell you if you need to read Harry. Like, do you need to know the world and be connected? Because I know Draco and Hermione, and I know what happened at the end, and I was devastated. Like so many, but it also. You always want to know more because I wanted to live at Hogwarts. I wanted to have wizarding powers and I wanted to play Quidditch. So Manacled is on my list, but I think it will depend on how I'm feeling. And then I am going to reread Crescent City 1 and 2 because the third one's coming out January 30. And I think with a reread for me especially, I'm doing it to sort of get back into the writing style, get back into the character world. So I will read that in the few days before it gets released. And I will skim big sections. I'm not going to be reading it word for word. I want to just know the main plot points again. I want to know who's in there, what big things happen. So I don't get to the third and go like, who's that person again? And what happened in the first book? What are they talking about? It just, so I feel like for me, a reread is not really a full read.
Yeah. It's great. Because I'm like, how are you going to read all these? They're chunky ass books.
They are chunky. And they're dense. Crescent City is dense. Though I do feel like once you get into it, it just feels as easy as reading ACOTAR. But it is 3 worlds layered onto each other, and there's 3 times the amount of characters, and there's modern aspects like phones and laptops and technology, and that's a weird thing to grapple with when also they still have wings, like magical powers. So it's like interesting.
Okay. So how many is that for you? I've got like 1, 2, 3. That's 8. Whew. It's 8 books, Carlie. As I said, I'm always overly ambitious, and I think I'm going to have all this time, and I will have more time than I normally do in my busy work life, but again, not going to pressure, just one at a time. Enjoy it, not churn, just enjoy. So I've got a little bit on my Kindle and a little bit on in like physical copy. How many for you?
Yeah. I've got 10, and then I've got those 4 TikTok purchases that the ones I spoke about them in the last episode, where I've downloaded them because I was so hyped by the review. When people are like, oh my God, if you like this and this and this, and it's just as good as this, it's amazing, and blah, blah. And then I buy them straight on Kindle. So it's, it's a $9 purchase and it's instant. But it's The Winter King, which we've spoken about in a previous episode, which has the worst cover of all time. But the woman was basically like, this is better than Akatai. This is better than Iron Flame. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, she just didn't want to tell people. She's like, I don't even know if I should be doing this review. Like, I really feel reluctant to tell people. And then Kerry Maniscalco, she's got these 2 books that are just doing the rounds on TikTok, Throne of the Fallen and Kingdom of the Wicked. And they both look quite dark covers, a little bit more on the dark spice, dark smut, but I don't know if that's true. I can't remember the reviews now. I just obviously was reviewed over. Like, I was just like, I am doing that. And then I've got this last book called Broken Bonds by J. Bree, which has the darkest cover, and it's a set of 6. But the person who spoke about it raved about it and said the world building was beautiful, and so it didn't sound like it was just a smut book. It sounded, but I haven't really heard many other people speak about that. And it was cheap, I think, on Kindle. It was like $4 or $5. So I don't think it might be a bit older. But they're the ones that I'm going to get to after the rest.
Okay.
If I get to them. Because I don't feel any pressure to meet any quotas.
No.
At all. And I don't have the same... Like, you're going on a holiday and you have less opportunity to have this kind of uninterrupted time, whereas I, work from home and we're having a staycation and actually feel very creatively lit up. So I've got plans to, do other, finish my poetry book, and we're building a website for Fated, and, just there's some creative projects on the go.
You just be able to flow through your day, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I don't feel as drawn to, because there's definitely times where I feel like you would feel the same. If it was possible, you would sit and read for 6 hours at a stretch on the couch, with a cup of tea and a blanket, or you'd sit out in the sun by the pool and you'd read for hours and hours. I just don't feel that desire currently. I feel very happy to just go to bed quite early, like 8:30, straight after dinner really, and read for an hour or 2. But I don't, I'm not waking up and being like, all I want to do is read. I'm like, oh, I want to do all these things.
Yeah, nice. You're in an urge, in a surge of creativity. Sure. Yeah. So I'm going to do Ledge. If I get to Chasm, I get to it. But Ledge is on my list. Powerless, One Dark Window, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, Queen of Shadows. And I'm halfway through He's Not My Type by Megan Quinn. So I want to finish that as well. So that's my sort of top ones that I'd like to do over the next few weeks.
Sounds great. I actually think I will do Manacled. So funny. I mean, if I get through that,
we've got to do it together. All the people you've got to get through Barb's.
My God, like, what if I love it? What if I'm just like, Carlie, I cannot put this autobiography down. This is the most interesting woman I've ever read about. Like,
it was meant to be, and your hand slipped and put it in the cart for a very good reason. The universe was like, you need Barbara in your life.
Anyway, I'll let you know how it goes.
Good. Well, hopefully that's maybe given some people some ideas of what they might like to add. We'd love to hear what your reading list is, or a book that even just one book that you're excited to get through over the winter or summer break, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
All right.
Well,
done.
We'll be talking to you soon.
Go forth and read. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you felt like you were eavesdropping on a conversation that you have been dying to have with someone to discuss all the tiny details and possible plot twists of the books that you've recently read. Perhaps you don't have someone to chat to after you finish one of those epic books, so please give the show a follow, and we would be honoured to be your book-obsessed friends. But mostly though, we hope it was fun, it gave you a giggle, it made you gasp, or encouraged you to pick up a different author. Please share it with someone who you think would also love it, and drop us a review, letting us know what you loved and what you want to hear from us in the future. We will be back with another episode soon. Happy reading.